Jason Rondo inside the paint, and Putney with his hand out fouls Aliou Diarra for the very first foul in this game.
The officials today: Pat O'Connell of the United States of America, Arnold Moussea of South Africa, and Amir Taboubi of Tunisia. I'll get a chance to go over to you, Q, now.
Well, you know that Diarra is an aerial artist and he really does play above the rim, but if the APR possession ends up with him taking a three-point shot, you can consider that a win for Rivers Hoopers. So early first blood drawn, I think Rivers Hoopers will take that, even though APR get onto the board, but it's going to be an interesting game indeed.
There you go, first and second shots going in there for Aliou Diarra.
That's the first points of the game already, and yes, Q, you talked about if Diarra ends up behind the perimeter, but converting those two will just give him enough confidence to keep going in the game.
And just coming in for the playoffs, of course, having not played his part in the conference in Kigali in the Nile Conference.
It's a quick 5 points from him, Nuni Omot.
Attempted three there coming from Amayo, picked up by Diarra. Omot. Diarra again, good work with Enjoy, gets the, oh, it just doesn't fall. A little bit of frustration there, but he does get fouled again.
Yeah, he's already drawn 2 fouls inside the paint, one against Kelvin Amayo and now Raphael Putney, and that's really going to be concerning for Rivers Hoopers, because Putney with the 2 personal fouls, this was their leading scorer in that last game with the 28 points. And APR have really mastered the defensive part of the game, and it could be a rhythm and a theme here. We saw that against Petro de Rwanda. They took out Yannick Moreira, the captain, who is one of their central players offensively and defensively. And it looks like the strategy is already working here against Coach Ogo Odaudu.
Q.
Oh, that was a technical foul, of course, and that was on Nori Habimana. So the shot went up. They didn't convert, but they'll come back and they'll execute on the foul on Ndoi.
Discipline is very important right now, but we have to talk about the team fouls for Rivers Hoopers. 4 team fouls under 5 minutes here in the first quarter.
David
and APR with just 1.
David Ike coming on, the 18-year-old BAL Elevate player, of course, who we've seen making a lot of noise, of course, what he's capable of doing. Big guy and a big wingspan, fully capable of protecting the boards, of course, and scoring points as well.
Yeah, smart decision there from Odaudu, because he realized that Yusuf Ndoye and Aliou Diarra were having party time in the paint. So Ike brings that size, energy, aggression that can deal with the West Africans.
Shooting there from Ndoye, and he moves up to 3 points. Randall with 5. A catch, arcing around, gets the pass. That's Ike, who tries to rise up. I think it's Ndoye who actually commits the foul, so that's what he can bring. He'll get followed every single time, and it's the Senegalese centre who picks up his first foul.
That's the definition
second foul.
Impact, as David Ike, of course, drives into the paint there, and Aliou Diarra, Nuni Omot, and Ndoye trying to stop him. He draws the foul, and now we'll go to the free throw line, because they really need to put some points on the board. And Ndoye, with the 2 personal fouls, is very concerning for APR.
So we have a couple of changes, of course, forced. Raphael Putney's got 2 fouls, and he's on the bench, and Ndoye's got a head off, and that's going to be a central theme. If these guys can get back on the floor, they can't play aggressive defense at all.
It's just the right person to bring on. You know, when you've got Ike coming on, you've got a giant who, great scorer, but also, you know, just a player capable of getting the rebounds, causing problems.
Speaking about changes, Obadia Noel, aka Mutabazi, steps onto the floor for his first minutes in this game, and let's see what he can bring. And of course, William Robbins, the captain of APR as well.
Noel Robbins back to Diarra. Nuni Omot. Shot clock down to 8. Olisameka keeps close tabs on Omot as Randall goes in, steps back, tries to get his shot. Rebound has been picked up, but shot clock violation. They'll get possession back.
And APR switched to small ball with just Aliou Diarra on the floor. It is 4 guards: Jason Rondo, Obadia Noel, William Robbins, and Nuni Amot. They lose ball possession, and Rivers Hoopers have an opportunity to turn things around here.
Well, it was APR who took on Rivers Hoopers twice last year in Rwanda. Of course, they lost both games from the team from Port Harcourt. It was Sahara Conference, of course, 86-82, 14 three-pointers, the most by a team in the season, of course, as we can see that there's a little bit of a disagreement taking place. 6 points for Hoopers, 12 for APR. Timeout called.
South Africa, welcome to BAL Season 5. My name is Steph Delta, most troublesome person on TV. My favorite DJ all the way from Senegal.
For APR, he's talked about matchups extensively, wanting his team to continue to execute on the offensive end with a little bit more confidence.
their teams.
Q, coming to you.
For Coach James May, just having a solid timeout there, talking about happy with the defensive pressure that they've applied. They're happy with the way the ball is being shared, and now they're just going to make a couple of adjustments on the offensive end as they go really small, and you can see that they're going to attack the perimeter with the lineup that they have on the floor.
Look, they've got a fantastic bench, haven't they, Usher? They've got depth, and they know how to use those players as well, and it just helps. They've got Sam Vincent as well, helping out just alongside James May Jr. to make sure that they do get the right players on at the right time. Maxi Shamba trying to find a way through the middle. He gets tangled up, and it's ball has been snatched and taken away there once again. And good work there coming from Dylan Schommer.
APR really putting pressure on the board, but really the box out there for Axel Mpoyo to evolve himself into play very early on is very important. Both teams in foul trouble right now with 2 minutes 40 seconds to play, and Mpoyo with an opportunity to score his first point here today, and he does.
And you talked about Sam Vincent, Robbie. When you look at the lineup that's on the floor currently for APR, this is the first time we've seen this lineup throughout the whole of Season 5. That's the kind of impact that an assistant coach can have, just in terms of rotation and resting star players, especially given the state of the game.
I think with MBB, we did actually see what Sam Vincent was capable of doing, bringing players, on at specific times for different roles, and understanding just when they should be coming on and how they can match up against players, who are sometimes a little bit more wily than them on occasions. IK trying to pick it up. Keita Anamayo has it out to the corner, and a chance for a long-range shot. It's shot clock violation. Look at that defense there from APR. It's like a little moral victory, isn't it, from the champions from Rwanda?
Well, Sam Vincent brings that X factor on the bench. We've spoken so much about his presence there, and of course a man who knows a thing or two about winning the NBA. You have to, give him some credit. 1986, of course, with the Boston Celtics, played with Michael Jordan, and just helping James May Jr. and Karim Houssi, who's also the assistant coach.
That's also about, the Tigers, the Nigerian women's team, who, of course, went all the way on the continent to win gold as well. So lots of experience there. Long-range shot coming in from Habimana, who picks up, and contact there and a foul that has just given the ball back to Rivers Hoopers.
Well, the presence of Gaba on the court is starting to be felt in a couple of ball situations. His size, his physicality, but also his love for winning. He goes to the free throw line and an opportunity to score for the first time here. Plays for Orion, which is one of the top teams in the Rwanda Basketball League. They've been investing a lot and trying to enter the top 4 of the league that has, of course, APR, Reg, the Patriots, Kepler. And he's now playing and leaving his dream here in Pretoria.
Gaba goes up, gets the first, misses the second, yet into double figures with 1:50 left to play in this first quarter. And Habimana, who's one of the best player with assists in the BAL this season, goes up for a shot himself, front rim, back out, picked up, made safe. That's wonderfully stolen there from that man, Noel. Into the corner it goes, and Mpoyo for a triple. And the attempted touch, and there is contact by Maxi Shamba on Noel, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Q talked about the lineup on the floor. When you look at the players, the choices that have been made, this is a small ball team that has the ability to run in transition, but also coming from the fact that they can slide and get steals like what Obadia Noel had there, and then see if they can score on the other side. Axel Mpoyo, one of the best line shooters for APR, and just fails to make that one, and Obadia with the opportunity to make it second chance points, and now he's on the free throw line and misses the first one.
Afawape was the player who picked up the foul. That's his first. Noel goes up and he makes it 22 points for APR. We've got 90 seconds left to play. Kelvin Amayo. Ahmed Dumbi has come on as well. is Okiki Apuape back out. A chance for them to try and do something. There's kicks back out. Mayo, 2 seconds left to get a shot in. Goes wide of the rim, out of bounds. Missing opportunities here, Rivers Hoopers. Put it down to good pressure from this defense, because their aggressive APR defense is making life very complicated for Coach Ododo and his players.
The stakes are very high for both teams, of course, but for APR, they want to be able to...
Seconds left to play. Garber didn't realize that. And Afuape gets up gingerly from the ground, from the floor, and seems to be okay. It's 11 points for the Hoopers, 24 for APR. Get out of there, says Mr. Ike.
In this land, the day begins in motion. Here, sports isn't just a game, it's how we move forward together. Every pass, every play begins with purpose, and every game moves us forward. But in each one, there's time to pause, to appreciate something deeply ours. Welcome to Rwanda, the home of sports.
It began with a dream of connecting the heart of Africa to the world. The first pioneers were brave, venturing into skies unknown, and today the same spirit lives on. Rwanda soars higher, carrying dreams and stretching our frontiers. It's not just a flight, it's an experience, the kind where every detail is designed to make you feel at home. Rwanda is more than an airline. We are a bridge between Africa and the world, between you and your dreams. Welcome to Kigali.
Welcome back to the Sunbet Arena here in Pretoria. 11 points for the Hoopers, 24 for APR. A bit of work to do for Rivers Hoopers to just get themselves, back into the mix, get themselves into the slipstream. Q, what's the reaction coming out of that timeout?
Coach Ododo obviously just a little bit unhappy with their level of effort, so he's going to change up the lineup entirely. They're going a little bit big here, a gamble as Raphael Putney comes back in, and they're going to try and pound the paint. As you can see, Rivers Hoopers, they have a three big man lineup, and I think that's going to be their emphasis. Inside out, it is to start out the second quarter.
Well, come on, let's see exactly how Putney and co can do the damage out here.
And the presence of the big man obviously goes down to the stats that we have after the first quarter. 14 points in the paint for APR and just 4 for the Rivers Hoopers is concerning for a team that likes to play physical and execute inside the paint.
Here we go. Let's get the second quarter off the ground here with goes out of bounds. Still keep possession though.
Great to have obviously APR putting their hands out there. It just comes from that defensive work that they've been putting in, but Jean-Jacques Wilson Shabozwa is on the floor, and that can only mean one thing.
Speed, stealing, poaching, pinching, skullduggery, all of that piracy, come on, we know what he can do. And he can shoot as well.
Yep.
Here we go with a chance for a shot. Putney coming in from the cold, goes up, little float over the top. There's the rebound attempt there from Olisameka, but as Shabozwa picks up the rebound. And this is starting to become a little bit frustrating, it is, for Rivers Hoopers. They saw a little bit of light, but it's just, again, APR so quick to react, so quick to get those fast break points, and they've always got someone ready to take the shot, and unchallenged, and Doyle on that occasion.
It's that transition from defense to offense that is helping APR, but the ability to focus on defense has been crucial for them, as we see the replay there for Nhore Habimana. It's a swish, it's 3 points, and they're up by 19, the biggest lead we've seen here from APR.
12 fast break points to 6. it's not just that, it's just they're just defending so well. You know, it was talked about earlier, you know, the moment that you make sure that those second, third chance points are not going in makes it so complicated for a team to try and, you know, get those points and compete with APR. It's just been clinical.
Well, Coach Ogo Odaudu, of course, spoke about that, but let's look at the top scorers here. Aliou Diarra with the 13 leading goal scorers today, 10 for Nuni Omot, Raphael Patney with the 9, and the highest scorer for Rivers Hoopers, Madhu Tekech with the close 7, and Doi, who's been incredible in transition there with the 7. But let's speak with Coach Ogo Odaudu. He spoke about the lack of energy from his Rivers Hoopers players. He wants to continue to see the way that they finished that first quarter, if they can produce that in this second and going into the halftime break.
Hugh, you're going to give us a reaction from what the coach said. We've got a question for you afterwards.
Coach Odaudu, it's like Usher was inside the huddle talking about what they're not doing on the defensive end. He's not happy with either side, so they're going to try and see if they can just get in one possession at a time, and if they can get this back within 10 points.
And it's players like Gabo who can make the difference. You need to have those players who get it and make an impact. Now's the time to stand up. Gabo picks the ball up, tries to get himself around. That's nice, neatly done, and it rolls in beautifully. And Catch getting 2 more points. That's what they need. He's up to 7.
That is 4 players that had a touch on the ball before the 2 points dropped in and reduced that deficit to 17, but they have to stop APR from scoring if they want to get back into this one.
Well, there's Maxi Shamba with a foul on Noel, and that will be his first.
And third team foul here for the Rivers Hoopers. Very concerning that every time they try to break the rhythm of APR, it's either foul or APR are going to the free throw line. To play smarter defense there.
Into the hands of Enjoy. They lead by 25 points, which is just a solid first half performance and a big statement for the Rwandan Giants.
Yeah, the Rwandans have been impeccable, and 22 from 31 just tells you everything you need to know from the field. 11 for 38 for the Rivers Hoopers. It's going to be a very tough conversation for Coach Ogo Odaudu in the dressing room as they prepare for the second half of this game. The rebounds has not been much of a talking point here. 20 for APR, 2 more than the Rivers Hoopers. The threes have come in, 3 of those for Rivers Hoopers coming from that man, Raphael Patney, to lead all the scores for the Kingsmen.
They need more players to come into the mix. Of course, Diarra with 13 alongside Randall and Omot with the 4 rebounds and 5 assists for Randall. Just to give you an idea, they're spreading the love around the boards. Big. But the fact is that field goal percentage is very low for Rivers. 11 from 38, 28% compared to 22 from 31 for APR, which is 70%, more than double. That is an issue for them.
Yes, absolutely. A big problem for them. They'll have to look for solutions going forward.
And we will take a break and we'll be back very soon.
Representing Nigeria in the Basketball Africa League 2025, Rivers Hoopers.
Goes up, wonderful score.
Hailing from the Nigerian city of Port Harcourt and celebrating their 16th anniversary this year,
That's better.
the Hoopers are back in the BAL for the third time since 2021.
We always keep pushing and grinding to the very end.
Hold it in. Massive score.
With 4 local league titles, the Kingsmen are chasing history.
Amayo takes it down.
Can the Hoopers improve on last year's third-place finish?
Oh, wow.
I'm just proud to be able to be a part of this. Nigeria, let's go. Another year. Let's get it.
But one thing's for sure,
Eke going up, going high.
the Rivers Hoopers can't be ruled out.
Oh, dropping it in smoothly.
They mean business.
And goal! Yes! Well, let's now look at key players, of course, for the Rivers Hoopers, starting off with this man here, Madada Ketch. Of course, he's put himself up with it 9 points alongside Raphael Putney. These two guys working the magic, but it hasn't been enough for them to get themselves into this clash with APR. It's been complicated for them in the defense.
Yeah, their body language, Rivers Hoopers, is a little bit off when you look at the way that they've been able to carry themselves in the opening 2 quarters. But if there's a team that can fight back, we know that the Kingsmen still have another gear that they can get into to see how to go very far. But Madu Takech, the South Sudanese, has been leading their offense, trying to run down the floor and attack APR on every opportunity that he gets, and also getting some points on the board.
Rivers Hoopers, they managed to beat APR twice last year, Q, in Kigali, of course. The fact is, this is not the same APR team, is it at all?
It's not the same APR team, it's not the same Hoopers team, and when you statistically look at what's happening inside the paint, that's probably one of the key factors, because 12 points in the paint for Rivers Hoopers at just 33%. And you look at the other side, 30 points inside the paint for that APR team, and they have it at 75%. Maduda Ketch, his 9 points have been important. He can do it from both sides of the floor. I think part of the stat that I just read out is the fact that Putney was off the floor for the first half of that first quarter. He gives them a lot of paint protection, and he helps change the percentages on the inside just by being inside the paint, and that's going to be a key factor, I think.
Let's now take a look at APR Rwanda.
APR, they are the Lions of Rwanda,
Going over the top, wonderful touch.
and they've returned to the BAL hungrier than ever. APR Basketball Club boasts 15 national titles,
Oh, nice.
than any other team in Rwandan history. This is a team built on discipline, pride, and legacy.
And he does it so majestically.
We don't just hear the crowd, we play for them.
Ready to silence the doubters and stake their claim among Africa's elite. No illusions, no fear. APR knows what's at stake.
The shot, it goes high up.
Because for the Lions,
Go!
only victory speaks loud enough.
We can only just say that the Lions are roaring, and we've also got Aliou Diarra, who is the
Lion.
killer.
The killer himself. But of course, as they say, let's go there in Kinyarwanda, you say Twagie, which is obviously something that must have been said there in the dressing room by the Rwandan-speaking, Kinyarwanda-speaking players on the team. But that meant Aliou Diarra, Mr. Double-Double, 4 rebounds already, and in double digits on the scoring chat is just something that, away from the numbers, the leadership that he brings, the threat that he poses for for against Rivers Hoopers is something that they'll have to have a conversation about.
Q, when we look at Aliou Diarra, we see, you know, a little bit unpolished, you know, 2 seasons ago, last season, getting better. Now we're seeing a more complete player. He's found the right fit, I get the impression, with APR.
Yes, his athleticism is a bit of a cheat code, but he continues to get better. He's not resting on his laurels, and every time we see him, there are minor improvements that take a lot of major work, and you see footwork right there as he gets up for the dunk, and also his positioning starting to get better on the floor. If he continues to develop like this, he's definitely going to become, or he already is, one of the top tier players in the BAL, but he could be more and more recognized globally if he continues to play like this.
Asha Obadiah Noel said in the press conference after the APR win over Petro, he said, you know, regarding Aliou Diarra, you know, we missed him for the last 2 games. You know, he wasn't 100%. For the last 2 games in Kigali. When he's 100%, what he brings to the game is just something extra special. He's been extra special all season for us.
And I'll tell you that APR are doing everything humanly possible to make sure that Aliou Diarra stays fit. They've hired extra medical staff to come here in Pretoria and ensure that he stays on the floor every time they need him to.
He's looked after big time, isn't he? It's 32 points for Rivers Hoopers, 57 points for APR. A lot of work to be done, but the Rivers Hoopers, well, who knows what the Kingsmen can conjure up.
Yes, absolutely. The Kingsmen, they're Nigerians. That spirit will be out in play in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back.
Well, welcome back, 32-57. APR, big lead. They're looking very strong. Now they've got to hold it. They've got to work out how they've got to just, you know, keep the floor controlled, because I think the Rivers Hoopers, they have to produce a revolution if they're going to have any chance of doing what they did last season.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Kingsmen, obviously, they'll need to dig deeper into their roster and demand better from some of their stats leaders. You have to think about what Raphael Patney can do a little bit more in this game. He's up to, of course, had those 2 personal fouls that we've seen him accumulate in the first 2 quarters, but 9 points already from the 3
been on the floor for the entire first half. 28 points in his last game. He's only got 9 at the moment, 3 3-pointers, fully capable of turning a game.
On the offensive end, but more on the defensive end. They allowed 33 points in that second quarter, and that's not the kind of defense that's going to help you win a championship. What they have to do is lock in on the other side of the floor and see if they can start limiting the freedom that APR have on the offensive side, and that's going to be a big key to them having a say here in the second half.
Listen, I know that the entire, Nigerian population will be getting behind the Rivers Hoopers. We've got lots of friends over there. Let's see what the Hoopers can do to try and reel in APR. Of course, big fans of Rwandan basketball. We go there every year, so we love them too. But yeah,
absolutely. Of course, the Rivers Hoopers from Port Harcourt, the city that produced Grammy Award-winning artist Burna Boy.
That's right.
So they have to try and play, and obviously Mr. Easy, so many of important Nigerians from that part of the country that in general they need to stay aggressive and see if they can ask some questions against APR. But defense already playing a key role here for the Rwandan champions.
So when you see what Doumbia can do from the outside, you want him to actually do it when, without Raphael Putney just stepping over the line. I just don't believe it. He is just a wizard.
What is going on? This is a...
His hands are wands.
Incredible, really, from Obadia, but that shows that he's really having so much fun out there on the court, and you like to see a player like that who expresses himself on the court and just, look at that, the way that he fakes a Fuape and just puts the ball in the air over David Ike. Just another 2 points for him, and APR have a firm lead. 10 points here, 4 assists, and still an opportunity to chase that double-double.
He, of course, produced that buzzer beater against AS Douane, of course, last season. He's got a full set of skills. Noel fully complements that APR team. He's not just the glue, he's the scoring, he's a scorer, but, he messes up defenses, basically. He causes chaos and mayhem.
Yeah, for any backcourt that he comes up against, Obadia, no, you have to rethink the strategy when it comes to how you want to defend him, because he'll either draw a foul or score against you, and that could lead to low confidence.
Q. 21 seconds left to play, 52-83. And picked up here, Maxi Shamba round Noel, goes in, tries to get the pass into the path of a teammate. Garba's there, but is picked up by Shabozwa. Last chance to get points before the end of the third quarter. Here he goes, right through Shabozwa. A chance for Shoma to try and get a shot in. It's too late, and that brings an end to the third quarter. 52 points for Rivers Hoopers, 83 for APR Rwanda, who are chasing a place in the Final Four.
It began with a dream of connecting the heart of Africa to the world. The first pioneers were brave, venturing into skies unknown, and today the same spirit lives on. Rwandair soars higher, carrying dreams and stretching our frontiers. It's not just a flight, it's an experience, the kind where every detail is designed to make you feel at home. Rwandair is more than an airline. We are a bridge between Africa and the world, between you and your dreams. Welcome to Kigali.
Welcome back to Pretoria here, and one more quarter before we find out potentially who will be going through to play the semi-finals and of course take on Al Ahly Tripoli. At the moment it looks like APR, they're in a commanding position, 83-52. Let's take a look at some of the numbers there, Asha.
Yeah, 67% from the field for the Rwandan champions. They've established 20 assists. That speaks to the teamwork that we've seen here, 10 more than the Rivers Hoopers. The rebounds, not so much of a difference, just three more for APR with the 29, but the three-point shooting, it's been the same with both sides, scoring 6 3-pointers.
And Hugh, 48 points in the paint for APR, just 20 for Rivers. Everything's working for APR still, but Rivers showing glimpses of what they're capable of doing.
Yes, they've shown some glimpses, but one stat that will concern Coach Odadu and the Rivers Hoopers coaching squad is the 77% on the interior. That just means there's a little bit too much freedom, and the contest's not really coming in, and that is a very high efficiency rating for this APR offense.
The presence of Yusuf Ndoye and Aliou Diarra in the paint for APR means that the strategy, of course, for Rivers Hoopers had to go around Peter Olisemeka, but of course Raphael Patney and his early foul trouble did not help matters here for the Kingsmen.
2 points on the pile there for the Hoopers. Akech keeping the tally ticking over with 16 now. There coming from Robbins.
As his first three-pointer here and the 7th for APR, just to continue destroying the Kingsmen.
And Raphael Putney's getting frustrated here with Robbins. A couple of words said between the two players, not happy about that.
That's the frustration, of course, that comes with the scoreline.
Yeah, that's Raphael Putney walking away. The officials will gather and just assess the situation. Coach Odadu trying to take Raphael Putney away. So on 4 fouls. He's on 4 fouls already, of course. So a spot of bother.
That's very unfortunate there, because Raphael Patney, of course, came into this game coming off that 28-point performance, his BAL career high, and also leading their charge on offense. 12 points for him, and that call will potentially disturb things for Rivers Hoopers in terms of what they want to do in the remaining part of this game.
So they've had a double ejection here. Putney and Robbins both disqualified from the game because of that altercation that's happened, and I think they're going to have to leave the floor. And it's a bit unfortunate. He did foul out with Raphael Putney, but that altercation ultimately results in both players having to leave the contest.
We can see them walking out now on the screens there. Thank you for the update, Q. And yeah, it's just not needed. Not needed. It was, you know, it is frustrating for APR. The scenario is not, you know, a good one. Any little moments that can just get inside of your head, and it's frustrating. Of course, Robbins, who's a very calm person. You know, he's a very cool person, just getting caught up there, and Raphael Putney, of course, frustrated because of his team's, you know, what's happened here, and yeah, it's a disqualifying foul there for Putney, of course, which takes him out of the game now.
Yeah, it means that he has to leave the floor and leave the Sunbet Arena exactly the way that William Robbins did, but that is, we've seen so many tempers flaring here in the BAL playoffs. It just goes to show how the stakes are high, and discipline is very important here at the Basketball Africa League.
Well, I think we, you know, it's the competitiveness as well. I think that, you know, this comes with, you know, just the level of, you know, the game. It's the BAL, and, you know, now 5th season, high stakes, you know, a lot of reputation, and, you know, it's becoming a much more bigger and improved league every single season, of course, and now it's off the charts, as we know. Let's get back to the action. Mpoyo, Ndoye, is Noel. Shot clock down to 4, needs to make a move, doesn't have much time. Chabozwa just steps back. Shot clock violation.
Yeah, great reaction there from Rivers Hoopers to force APR into losing the ball, and the basketball continues here, Roby. Let's look at the replay there. Maduta catch and where that came from.
Well, there'll be a 13 foul for APR, and a little lull in activity here for APR, and it's an opportunity for Rivers to seize their chance to try and get something. Still 7:35 left on the clock. You know, I mean, there's still plenty of basketball to be played.
Well, the two turnovers on the other side for APR and the foul on this one on the opposite side of the court means that APR have to resort to being locked in terms of the way that they want the game to finish.
23 points, Q.
It's not insurmountable, but they really have to lock in, and all they need is a good 2 or 3 minute period, and we could see momentum in the building shift, and they've got to approach it with that mindset.
Well, they're hassling Noel, of course, and putting pressure on him, and double teaming. Here's Randall going up, tapped back out, another chance, and Poyo Omot.
Well, if there's anything we've learned about the Basketball Africa League is that things can change in a minute.
Good defensive work there from Garber. You know, calling out for the pass, it's not going his way. Akech going around, bumping off Randall. Max Amber here, goes high, off the glass, doesn't happen. Second chance, well, that's great work. And look at Olisomeka, always on the rebound, draws the foul from Mpoyo. Again, they get the foul.
Good attitude there from the Rivers Hoopers. They've already scored 11 points in 3 minutes here in the last quarter, while limiting APR to just 3, which was the 3-pointer scored by Axel Mpoyo. And these are things that, you know, eventually determine the result of the game. We've spoken about scoring runs and how they can change the momentum of the game. In APR, you can see that Coach James Meyer Jr. has made a change. Aliou Diarra comes on, and Axel Mpoyo will take a break.
For the seeding game, Peter Olisomeka, 37 minutes he played. He was the most used player for Rivers Hoopers, and picking up a double-double, of course, 11 points, 10 rebounds. So much that he can offer to this Nigerian outfit, of course. Proving it with more points scored, 22, and they get a chance to go up again. Kelvin Amayo going up, but there it is. Oh, he just can't slam it in. Another chance, and Noel goes down, and he's not looking okay with that right foot.
Looks like there was a bump there as Amayo complains about the foul, but let's see how Badiano feels. Looks like he's in so much pain. We'll get attention from the physiotherapist, Dr. Fabrice Toishima there.
You know, it's when you've fallen comfortably, you know, coming down, because they get up so high. We'll just get a look from this now. Oh, no, Maya just clatters, takes to take. Oh, that's the moment. It's that right foot, and it's a little turn, and then afterwards.
It looks like there's a bit of contact there with Kelvin Amayo's foot.
Yeah, it was before that, I think, and then afterwards, I think he's fine. It's just, it's when he goes down onto the ground, because it doesn't go flat, and that is the problem. He was already in pain. He already felt it when he was actually moving down to hit the ground.
Bit of good news for APR fans is that, of course, Q to give us an update from the touchline.
Well, I can tell you that it doesn't look good initially, and that's not great for APR fans and Noel. You know that he left the last BAL because of injury, and I'm sure some of that will be playing in the back of his mind. He looks quite frustrated right now.
We'll keep tabs on that. Thanks for the update. And ball being picked up, pinched, poached, taken forward. Maxi Shamba, the acceleration, gets it out to Dumbia, into the corner. Baseline 3 goes up, comes back out, still in possession, and another chance. Olisomeka, a catch for 3. And second chance point.
For APR, they needed that, and they're up to 6 points here in the fourth quarter.
5:36 left to play. And his first foul there coming. So it's Ahmad with it. Yeah, it was first foul for Ahmad. But just look at this. He sees that he's got the chance to shoot that three from out west. Nails it.
A follow through there, nicely done from Nuni Ahmad. Just a couple of words being said in reaction to the foul that was called on him against Madu Tekech.
Are you talking about the flamingo head finish? That's what she's talking about, Q.
Flamingo it is, but
I saw your form from here, Mr. Knock.
Boom, boom, boom.
that's 13 points for Rivers Hoopers and now 14 in this fourth quarter.
Tekech delivering from the free throw line. And Habimana taking the ball up into the other side of the floor. Joy trying to drive round the baseline. Foul committed by Dumbia. That's going to be his second.
And 14 fouls here for Rivers Hoopers, but Nori Habimana, assist king for APR, just finding Doi, who uses his body very well to beat Olisameka and gets rewarded with a trip to the charity line. APR 11 for 19, 57% on the free throw line today. They've been near perfect with the 5 minutes, 20 seconds to play, but like you said, Rory, still so much basketball to be played.
Well, yeah, I think that, you know, when you have exclusions, when you have an injury, that can obviously play such a pivotal role in how you turn things around. And the fact is that, you know, Rivers Hoopers have showed glimmers, you know, or glimpses, if you like, of what they're capable of doing. Fact is that, you know, it is a big lead. There's no denying that. And there's not much time left. 5:20 is still a lot of time, but 24 points. Unsurmountable. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, maybe Q has an idea.
Anything can happen. This is the Basketball Africa League.
Okay.
I believe Q. I believe Q. Always believe in the man. But
Why do you believe?
I'm telling you, I'll explain.
Explain yourself, Ashley. Here we go. I catch Dumbia. Big long-range shot. Front rim, back out, made safe for much. Habimana. And you can see him lingering with intent. Down close to the key, but Ahmad tries to deliver a big three. There's a tempted rebound there. Good work from Randall just to get in the way.
Well, 91 points for APR, 9 away from the century. And what a way that could be for them to get a place in the semifinals.
25 points separate the two, 4:53, timeout time. We'll be back. It's the bongo cam. Come on, hit the bongos.
We love the drums and, of course, a proper celebration of African culture. And look at the South African fans just enjoying the atmosphere here in the Sunbet Arena. And I'll tell you who's enjoying their time on the court. APR, of course.
And very important Uwe triple.
Yeah, absolutely. Great finish for him, the man from Gauteng in the northern province of the country. Established himself as a three-point shooter here for APR.
Sambe trying to keep the ball in play. Oh, it's just snatched there by Garber, and they've already gone past the 100-point barrier, of course. APR 101 points, 106 left to play.
It's the third time this season that APR have scored over 100 points, first against MBB in that now conference win, and then in the loss against Al Ahly Tripoli.
Foul there coming in from Sambe, and it's going to be 3 shots for Fuwape with Petro Rwanda, of course, by 18 points. They now take on Rivers Hoopers, who finished in 3rd place last season by, at the moment, 31 points. I mean, this is a big, massive statement for the Rwandan champions as they try and push forward and go all the way. But they do come up against Al Ahly Tripoli 6-0 in Kigali, and they know exactly that that's going to be a massive battle as well, because they've already played them.
The giant slayers, APR, they've established themselves in that proper theme here in the basketball. Want to be part of the conversation this weekend, and of course they're now guaranteed that they'll play 4 games, but whether they go to their first ever final, we'll see on Wednesday.
The thing is that they've already played twice, haven't they, APR and Al Ahly Tripoli in the Nile Conference in Kigali, so they'll get to, and they lost both of those games, so it's a time for revenge. They're not just getting revenge over Rivers Hoopers for the 2 losses in Kigali last year, but they're also trying to get revenge over Al Ahly Tripoli, you know, for the 2 losses this year.
They've already written their own story here, their own chapter. Of course, we saw them becoming the first Rwandan team to beat Petro de Luanda in the BAL after the Angolan champions beat Patriots in season 1.
"50 seconds, 73-101. That's the scenario here. The 3rd of 4 quarterfinals coming to a close. Petro Luanda US Monastir, 2022 champions up against the defending champions. Guaranteed